Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Wobiscum. I didn't want to do this video, but I'm doing it anyway because of the reaction. I don't know if it's so much the reaction, but the view count on that FAI video regarding Dalton's resignation. So I wanted to do this video. Not because I want to gossip about it. That's not the point of this video. But it's to really to just talk about it in a real way, and not in a sensationalistic kind of way that a lot of people tend to do with church scandals. Number one, I gotta be careful with my words here, but I greatly dislike when there are videos who are practically I sense that they're celebrating when these things happen, okay? That like they're grinning through their teeth, they're happy that Dalton has resigned and things seem to be going badly for FAI. I am not in favor of that at all. I'm very much a supporter of FAI. I have been for at least a year now. Been giving my, donations and watch their videos pretty. I'm gonna be careful with this word, but religiously. Like I watch them as soon as they upload them almost. I very much. Oh, sorry about that shakiness. I very much admire and I not that I take everything Dalton and Joel Richardson say as the gospel, but I am very much open-minded to what they have presented in terms of end-time prophecy. And to be honest, of all the biblical teachers, especially those teaching end-time prophecy, Joel and Dalton get a lot right, in my opinion anyway. That's what the Spirit has led me to believe, that not only do they use scriptures to support their beliefs, but it very much falls in line with scriptures. You'll be hard pressed to find anything that is contradictory to the scriptures, and even if it is, let's just say, you have the pre-wrathers or I should say pre-trib and post-trib stances, and there's just a lot more security in the view of Yeshua or Jesus Christ returning after the tribulation, not before the tribulation. And I think it has to do with the rapture, right? So that the rapture would happen post-trib, not pre-trib. He's not going to take the saints to be protected and they won't have to deal with anything. They're just it's only gonna be, the Jewish people are gonna be the only ones suffering. That is very dangerous, just as Joel said, because, again, just reiterating what he's saying, or repeating what he's saying, pretty much, is that if we are right, then at least we're prepared. But if we are wrong, what am I saying? If we are right, or if they are right in saying that believers will not be raptured, then we're more prepared, and that's all good, right? But if FAI is wrong, or at least Joel and Dalton are wrong, then they're still okay. At least they're prepared in either case, in either scenario, they will be prepared. So that's all I have to say about that part. Now back to that scandal. Again, I am very much just shaking my head at people who, look down on Dalton or whoever it is that has been, who has had negative things said about them, allegations and so forth. And not just allegations, but even, this has been made a public almost spectacle in YouTube among Christian channels and it's a shame. It really is a shame. I'm not here to put down Dalton, and God forbid I would do such a thing like that, or anyone in FAI. I very much support what they are doing in Israel, what they're doing around the world. I have nothing but good things to say about Dalton and Joel. Really. So if you're expecting me to say anything negative, that's not going to happen on this channel or in this video. Far be it from me to speak of something I don't even know about or I'm not really familiar with, especially in this situation with Dalton. But I'm very disappointed in videos and people who produce videos that say negative things about FAI, and they seem to be taking some sadistic pleasure in the situation. It's really sad. If we're going to be followers of Yeshua, we have to mind our own business, okay? And I'm not saying don't call things out for what they are, but gossiping, and being happy when an organization that is doing good work is like they're in a low point right now, that is not Christian, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a Christian behavior. It's not Christ-like. When one member of the body suffers, we all suffer. We're all hurting, and it is painful. It is sad. I've read a lot of the comments, and the comments have said, "I'm sad. This hurts," and so on. And 100% agree with you. It is a sad time, and we are hurting. But don't be discouraged, because I believe this will be used to only strengthen believers, and hopefully strengthen Dalton and his family. They're not meant to overcome us or them. We need to learn the love of Christ, that He, despite all our failings and our weaknesses, He still continues to work with us, because He's not working with us to show how good we are and how perfect we are. He's working with us, those weak, foolish members of society, in order to show the rest of the world how good He is, how perfect He is, how perfect they are, the Father and the Son. So that's the second thing I wanted to talk about in regards to the FAI situation. And the third thing is, and I'm kind of hesitant to even mention this in passing, but I will, and I hope this isn't gossiping, but anyway, people have asked, can you give more information as to, they omitted something from the report, or at least from the FAI Instagram and social media. Now, I did a little bit of digging and research, and this was on, I believe, Facebook, and this is, I believe, the FAI Facebook page. And in the comment section, there was like a rabbit hole I kind of went down, and I'm not going to give all the details just out of respect for Dalton and his family, but this is more complicated, I believe, than meets the eye, because from the initial reaction or the initial reading of what is on the official announcement there from FAI, is that it's only Dalton is to blame. When I did a little more investigating, there's actually more to the picture, again, than meets the eye, and there's other parties involved, and they are not completely blameless, nor are they innocent, but very much guilty. Now, I know your ears are kind of like perked up now, but I'm not going to say any more than that, but just to say that, at least in my opinion, it seems that Dalton has taken the high road in what had transpired over these, they said the last 10 years, there was a lot. It's not just Dalton being the only one involved in this situation here, but another party or other parties. I'm not going to name them because to be frank, I forgot their names, and I don't want to be gossiping, but just to give a little more sense to the situation and clarity, God be the judge. God be the judge of the situation. And let God take vengeance. Let God exercise justice. And if not in this lifetime, then the next one. but justice will be carried out, and these things will come to light. And it seems that they have come to light to some degree. So this is the side of the situation that no one is talking about. They're all talking about, oh, Dalton did this and FAI is a failure, or whatever they want to say. That just saying negative things, not really getting the full picture of the situation. But when you do your digging, it seems that the other party involved, or other parties involved, have a lot more, they seem a lot more guilty in my mind anyway, in my opinion. No, I don't want to get into all the details because it's very dicey, it's very sensitive, and I'm not comfortable talking about this. Number one, I don't know if it's all factual or even real, because it's just posts and blogs and vlogs, or not really vlogs, but posts and blogs. And excuse me. I just don't feel comfortable completely just giving all the details that can be found if you do enough digging. And again, I'm disappointed by Christian channels they don't have to say they're happy. I could tell by their snide looks on their little smirks on the corner of their mouths, kind of just grinning behind their teeth. To me, it's satanic. It's a satanic spirit that is, whether they know it or not, when they take pleasure in the division of brethren, when there is strife, when there is there's a difference between dividing for the sake of holiness, and then there's a difference between discord. And the devil, Satan, sows discord among brethren. And when you take pleasure at the suffering of a fellow believer, whether they've sinned, whether they have unintentionally sinned, whether they are a victim of someone else's sin, it's all wrong. It's like a sibling rejoicing at another sibling being chastised and being smacked by the father. Why would you do that? That's not Christian. That's not loving. Doesn't the proverb say that do not rejoice when your enemy falls, lest the Lord sees and then he relents? And then maybe you will be the one who'll be punished for having the wrong attitude. Because that's not the attitude one should have. You should be sorrowful when one member suffers. You should pray for their restoration. Because isn't it even in the Corinthian church when the individual, I believe it was a man who was discovered, who had his father's wife, not only did they separate him from the congregation for a season, but they eventually restored him. Because you don't want that person to be completely lost with no path to restoration. That's not the way of Christ, to just forsake somebody forever just because of one mistake, no matter how small or big it is, and just to leave them at their own, to the devil's whims, so to speak. That's not the way of Christ. Can we know their heart? Well, the Holy Spirit could help us to some degree know whether they're repentant or not. I'm not saying we can know beyond a shadow of a doubt, whether they have the purest intentions and are made clean and have fully repented. But there should be a procedure, a process of remediation, of restoration, of like spiritual rehabilitation, if that makes any sense. So I can drone on and on about this topic, but I'm going to leave it at that. So again, this is just my follow-up in regards to the FAI situation. I noticed they haven't posted any new content in over a week now. It's kind of concerning. I hope that they do post something, any update. But just if I could say one thing in closing, please pray for FAI, for the leadership. Pray for Dalton, pray for his family, that God's will be done. And I know that those who bless Israel will be blessed by the God of Israel. FAI has blessed Israel, and they are blessing Israel. May God bless them for what they are doing in this very difficult time. May God bless Joel Richardson for his ministries of teaching the truth regarding the Jewish Messiah, regarding replacement theology, regarding eschatology. May God bless Dalton for his teachings in regards to these things. But again, I don't know all the details. I wasn't there when all these things went down. We can only read things and speculate. But I just pray that God would, in his time, restore Dalton in whatever capacity God sees fit. That God would also help his family, his wife and his children during this hard time. Because what I find in my life anyways, that the hardest times are actually the times when we find a closer, more dependent relationship with our Creator. Think of the lockdowns, 2020 to 2022. Those were very difficult times for a lot of people, being isolated. But in the middle of that dark period of time, the light shines only brighter. This channel started essentially in the darkness period. And the Word of God, the Tanakh, the Septuagint, was my guiding light and kept me going every day. And every new chapter, not really new chapter, but every chapter brought forth new precious gems and gold. So having said all that, I just want to say that may God have his way in the situation. May he work out his salvation. May his will be done. And we know he is a good and loving Father. And, personally, I just pray for Dalton that he would come out of this stronger in the Lord. I pray for his family that they would come out of this stronger too. That this trial will only be a growing experience for them. That they would learn to trust the Lord even in a greater and a deeper way. And when the next trial comes, they'll be able to bear it because of the lessons they've learned from this. I pray for all in FAI. I mean, if you look at what they're doing in Israel, they're literally, every time the rockets notification goes off in my phone, they're actually there in the land of Israel, and they don't just get a notification on their phone. They actually see the rockets, they hear the rockets, they feel the rockets, and sometimes the rockets kill people. They destroy property, but they also destroy souls. So it goes unmentioned, but it must be mentioned that FAI is doing a work in Israel. They've restored bomb shelters. They've made them more livable. They've made them more they're more prepared for what is happening now and what is to come later. And if that's not the work of God, I don't know what is. Because they're helping literally the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob during this time when a lot of people just want to see them wiped off this face of the earth. And we know that Messiah comes back in order to save them, the remnant, and to establish the kingdom, restore the kingdom to Israel with him as the king, the son of David. So that's all I have to say about that. It's a longer video than I originally anticipated, but till next time, I bid you all shalom aleichem, salamu alaikum, irini mazisu, pax vobiscum. Peace be unto you, and Maranatha.